What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's Professor Ant-Man coming back at you with another video. In today's video, guys, I'm here to bring you all my review of Boku dake episode 2, otherwise known as Erased. So let's get this started. So yeah, I've been really enjoying this series so far. I mean, it has a unique sort of atmosphere to the series, and it just fits the overall plot. And in episode 1, we were introduced to a unique premise to the series as well, how Satoru can use these so-called revivals that he ends up experiencing in order to prevent certain catastrophes from happening. And in episode 1, we also see that his mother ends up being stabbed and killed, and then now he is being framed for the death of his mother, and then all of a sudden he experiences a revival back in time to where he is set back into his childhood days, 18 years in the past. So now he's about 11 years old, and he is set back in the time of 1988, I believe. So yeah, this is where episode 2 leaves off. Just wanted to give you guys a quick little recap. So in episode 2, we see that Satoru has the body of his 11-year-old self, but the mind of his 29-year-old self remains intact, and he still has certain memories from what he experienced in his childhood, but now it's up to him to relive these childhood days and actually try to prevent certain catastrophes from ending up happening, probably without the use of revivals, because in episode 1 we see that, Satoru is 29 years old, but he experiences revivals. Now, can he actually experience these revivals in his childhood days? I mean, just think about that really quick, because Satoru is 29 years old in episode 1, and he had these abilities which could end up sending him back in time 2 to 5 minutes in the past in order to prevent a certain catastrophe. Now, by the end of the episode, he ended up having a big revival that ended up sending him back 18 years in the past, back in 1988, to actually relive his childhood days, literally. So now, will he actually be able to experience these revivals again? I mean, it was hinted at that, Satoru did end up experiencing these revivals at a early age back in episode 1, when his mom was like, didn't you tell me something like this a couple years ago, back when you were a child or whatever. So, will he actually be able to experience these revivals, or will he simply just have to rely on his intuitions and instinct in order to prevent these catastrophes? So, it's probably, going to be a more realistic term on how exactly he's going to handle these situations rather than a supernatural way. However, that doesn't mean that these revivals won't kick in again. Maybe down the line, he will end up finally be able to experience these revivals when he first ended up experiencing them at a early age in childhood. But right now, it looks like that Satoru is going to have to rely on his natural instincts in order to prevent these certain events from happening. Now, we also got some hints on Hinazuki, the little girl who ended up being kidnapped and murdered, apparently, at the park from Satoru's childhood days. Now, it looks like Satoru is going to have to, obviously try to prevent Hinazuki's death and get to know her better, so that way, her death doesn't actually end up happening. And what this will probably do is, if he can prevent her death, he can probably go back to the present time and actually possibly meet up with Hinazuki in the future, because, she's alive now, but also to prevent his mother's death. Now, how he is going to do this without the revivals, like I said before, is going to be pretty interesting, but he does have a mind of a 29-year-old Satoru, so he is going to be pretty smart compared to the average child and everything. But so far, from what we know of Hinazuki, is that she is being beaten by possibly her parents or some other type of guardian that she is with. She has bruises all over her body, more specifically shown on her thighs. She's writing depressing essays and stories that, the school is actually turning them in for the school newspaper or the school magazine as a child who actually has good writing skills. But the general meaning of her stories that Satoru ends up looking at is that they literally mean, please somebody help me. They are a SOS in general. And this is why Hinazuki acts the way she acts, because from her being beaten and everything, it causes her a lot of trauma, and she is very depressive. She is a very depressed girl, which is very sad. And, obviously, we see that one scene where we see Satoru ended up being asked by her if you were to be my friend, would you listen to me and do what a friend would do, and that would be to kill somebody that I want you to kill. And Satoru was like, what are you talking about? And Hinazuki later says that I am joking, but was she really joking? Because obviously, people would like to get revenge for trauma that other people end up causing the specific individual. So, was it really a joking matter, or was it something serious? Now, also, I really love how the direction is going between Hinazuki and Satoru, because of the fact that Satoru is actually going out of his way now to actually, become friends with Hinazuki rather than ignoring her like he did in the past. I mean, he wasn't, just being a bad person or anything. It's just that maybe, he really didn't, talking to Hinazuki really didn't interest him, and he really didn't feel like he had to go out of his way to actually make friends with many people. So we can probably tell that, at a time in the in Satoru's original childhood life, he was actually very shy as well, as far as what we can gather. But it is just good to see that Satoru is actually going out of his way to actually make friends with Hinazuki, because all Hinazuki really needs is just somebody to talk to. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I'm getting weird vibes from the teacher of Satoru and Hinazuki's classmates, the one who we were introduced in the beginning of the episode, because he almost resembles the killer of Satoru's mother. Now, I know that by the end of the episode, we ended up seeing that the killer did have red eyes, so and in this episode we see that the teacher has, hazel brownish eyes, so there's no distinction between them, but maybe that, the red eye glare was to just throw us off in the anime, as viewers. Maybe they actually do have a connection, because I know, right now we know that there are two killers. We know that there is a murderer of Satoru's mother, and we have a murderer of Hinazuki that ended up murdering Hinazuki in the past. So right now we know that there are two murderers. But what if actually this teacher, right? Maybe these two murderers are actually the same individual. So let's bring this down to one now. And maybe this individual is actually the teacher, because maybe this specific individual who ended up killing Satoru's mother and Hinazuki can actually use revivals the same way on how exactly Satoru ends up using them. Maybe he has the same ability, we don't know. All of this is just speculation. I'm just giving my overall theories. It's just I'm getting weird vibes from that teacher. Let me know if you guys have a theory out there in the comment section down below on who exactly you think the two murderers are. But yeah, I gotta say, the animation in this series is amazing. I really am enjoying it. I mean, in episode 1, obviously it had good animation, but in episode 2, we see, how exactly it goes from being something that you usually see in anime to something completely immersive and atmospheric when it transitions into like a movie style setting. How it has the black lines on the top and the bottom. Like, I love that. It just made it made it more enjoyable to watch, in my opinion, and a lot cleaner, I guess you can say. I don't know, just how everything was handled in episode 2 as far as the animation goes, I really did enjoy. So yeah, guys, that about does it for this episode. I really am enjoying this series of Boku dake ga Inai Machi. It is a very fantastic series, and we're only on 2 episodes, and already, like, I am listing this as the top anime of my personal choice for winter 2016, and I knew that this series was going to do well. Just because of the premise alone, I knew that this series was going to do well, and A1 Pictures is doing a fantastic job on handling this series. So yeah, definitely enjoying this series. Let me know your opinion down below on what you exactly think about this series, on how exactly it is turning out. What are your theories on who the actual killers are? And yeah, just let me know your overall thoughts in the comment section down below. And of course, if you like this video, please give it a like. And if you want to stay up to date to my future content on this channel, please hit that red subscribe button below, and you'll never miss a video from me. That about does it for this video, guys, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Catch you guys next time.